Hi, my name is Manisha Agrawal. I am with Texas Instruments Video Security Team. In this video, I will be covering DM385 IPNC RDK out of box demo part 3. Here I'll be showing flashing the Uboot using pre-built binaries available in RDK, running IPNC using NFS file system, runtime configuring the camera and video parameters using web browser on Internet Explorer, playing the IPNC streamed video on VLC player, and finally I will also show how to boot the camera from SD card. For this, you will need a Linux machine with Ubuntu 10.04 or above, a Windows machine, XP or 7, and DM385 IP network camera. Let's begin flashing the Nand using the pre-built binaries available in RDK. Here the assumption is that your camera is already flashed with some version of first stage and second stage Uboot, and hence you are able to see the second stage Uboot prompt after you hit enter, seeing this DM385 on your Terraterm console. To flash the camera from the pre-built binaries, you need to come to your Linux machine under directory binaries of the installed RDK package. Go to the directory DM385 Nand. Under that you will see two further directories. Depending on the camera type that you have, go to the directory AR331 if you have Aptina sensor camera. If you have Panasonic sensor camera, then go to the directory MN34041. Copy these binaries to your TFTP server location. Now, instructions to flash the Nand from Uboot is handy in this file update.txt available under folder binaries. Simply copy paste these instructions from update.txt to the Terraterm console running on the Windows machine for updating the first stage, second stage Uboot, kernel, and updating the file system. Now, if TFTP server IP address is not updated in your camera, you need to update the IP address of the TFTP server by typing this command. Save this environment variable. Type dhcp to get the IP address to camera. Now copy from the update.txt one instructions at a time and paste it on your Terraterm console. With this, you are done updating your first stage, second stage Uboot, kernel, and file system on a working camera using pre-built binary. Now you need to update the bootargs and boot commands. Again, you can copy that from update.txt. For low power boot command for Panasonic sensor, just copy these instructions and paste it to your Terraterm console for UBIFS based bootargs and DHCP boot mode. Copy this instruction. Now power cycle the camera. Now with this, camera is updated with the latest binaries and running same without any issues. Now since camera is up and running, let's see how to access the streams from the Internet Explorer and runtime configure various parameters of the camera. For this, first get the IP address of the camera. To know the IP address, type ifconfig and it will print the IP address of the camera. Copy this, open the Explorer, type the IP address of the camera as shown on my screen. It will ask you if you would like to install the software. Press install. After installation, you will see the main login screen. Enter the username as admin, ADMIN. Password is 9999, 4 times 9, and submit. Now you can change various parameters of the camera runtime from here. Left panel allows you to navigate to the other screen. I will go through few menu options here. You can read IPNC RDK GUI guide.pdf to understand in details various options and features to configure camera runtime. For example, in video settings, you can select the stream type if you want to run single streaming, dual streaming or tri-streaming. By default it is tri-streaming. You can select the codec combo that you want the streams to be of type. So default type is primary stream is of type H.264, secondary stream is also of type H.264, and third stream is of type MJPEG. In this option resolution, you can change the resolution of various streams. Currently only 1080p D1 as primary and secondary stream is supported, and third stream is always of type MJPEG 1080p. You can select the frame rate options for individual streams here separately. So the default frame rate is 30 FPS at 10 megabits per second, and rate control is of type variable bit rate. You can change it to 60 FPS for the primary stream. Similarly, you can configure the frame rate, bit rate or rate control for a secondary stream and for third stream. You can go to the advanced feature. You can configure face detection on or off. You can change the region of interest settings, change the confidence level and direction. Face recognition is not supported on DM385, so you can ignore the settings. Say configure. You can also turn on motion detection feature by pressing OK. You can change various advanced feature of camera runtime, like the two-way settings. You can turn off or on auto exposure, auto white balance. Similarly, there are other options that you can set runtime. All the settings that you saved here get stored in Nand partition 5 of IPNC camera. So next time when you power cycle the camera, it runs from those settings that you configured last time from the web browser. So if you want to reset the settings, you need to type /erase all dev mtt5 on your Terraterm console after you log in as root. Let's now look at playback of these streams streaming from the IP network camera on VLC player. For this you will need to download the VLC player. To download this player, go to www.videolan.org. Click on download VLC, and this will download the VLC player on your Windows machine. Double click on the downloaded executable. This will open up a window. Click on run. To open the stream, go to media, open network stream, and copy this link to play H.264 first stream on VLC player and paste it over here. This will start playing the streams on VLC player. The link to be copied on VLC player is also documented in section 3.4 RTSP streaming demo on VLC section of RDK install guide. So you can copy this on your VLC player after replacing this with the IP address of the camera. And you know how to get the IP address of the camera. For that, just go to your Terratum console, press enter and then type ifconfig. Just use this and replace it over here, and finally copy this link to play the first stream on your player, copy this link to play this H.264 secondary stream on your player, and so on. You can also change VLC media player settings for low latency playback as mentioned in section 3.4.1 of IPNC RDK install guide. Note that the settings are documented for version 2.0.3 of VLC player and hence may not be applicable to the later versions of VLC player if you have downloaded same. So far you learned how to run out-of-box demo with UBIFS file system. Now if you are needing to modify some software or adding some feature to RDK and want to incrementally run or test the feature, you may want to run IPNC with NFS based file system. For that, you need to have NFS server installed in your Linux host machine. How to install NFS server on Ubuntu 10.04 Linux host machine is documented in section 1.5.1 of IPNC RDK install guide. Just copy this instruction on your Linux host machine and this will install the NFS server on your machine. For my machine, you are seeing the instruction that this is already the newest version as I already have NFS server installed on my machine. Next you need to do is to export the target file system path in Linux host machine where the file system is mounted. For that, refer to section 1.5.2 of IPNC RDK install guide. Refer to step 3. So you need to open etc exports file as root and copy paste this in that file after modifying the path as per the path of files is installed in your Linux machine. So I have updated etc exports file with path of the files is in my Linux host machine. Do the changes, save the file and close it. After that, export the file system by running this instruction as root on your Linux host machine. Once exported the file system, start NFS service using this command as root With this, the NFS server is running on Linux machine, and now you can access the files running on Linux machine from your IPNC camera after modifying the bootargs as documented in IPNC RDK install guide. For that, refer to section 3.1 of IPNC RDK install guide and go to the section of bootarg settings. Copy these bootargs in your Terraterm console after second stage Uboot prompt. After modifying this NFS root path as per the path in your Linux host machine, here you need to update the address with your NFS server IP address and the location of your target file system running on Linux host machine. Modify the ETH address as per the MAC address of your IPNC camera and modify IP equals to with DHCP if you are running in a DHCP mode. If you are running in a static IP mode, you need not modify this address. I copied the bootargs from the RDK install guide to Notepad and updated NFS root with the location of my machine. I also updated the ETH address and the IP as per my settings. Now copy paste that to your Terraterm console after second stage Uboot prompt and then type boot. With this, your camera is now running with binaries on the file system on your Linux host machine. Finally, I will show how to boot from SD card. For that, you need a SD card with 1 GB or above size, a flash card reader writer that can be plugged on your Linux host machine. To format SD card, you will need first stage Uboot, which is MLO, second stage Uboot binary, kernel binary, and the tarball for file system. I am showing here the pre-built binaries available in RDK package for Panasonic sensor. So you have separate tarball for full feature or the low power application. To create tarball of your own file system, make sure you are at the level target file sys. At this level, type sudo tar cvfc, name of the tarball that you want to give, and create to all the folders under this directory. So that is /star. Press enter. This will create the tarball of the file system under that directory. Now copy it to the location where all other binaries for the SD card are located. Plug the SD card reader to your Linux machine. Check where it got mounted. For that, you can say ls div sd star. So I see on my machine it is mounted to SDB. So first thing is to unmount these partitions. Once you have unmounted those partitions, if any existed on your SD card, you need to format the SD card. There is a script mkst-ti814x.sh available under location IPNC RDK utils SD script. Copy that script to the folder where all other binaries are. Now type this command sudo name of the script, name allotted for this device, first stage Uboot bin, name of the second stage Uboot binary, uImage, and finally name of the file sys tarball. Press enter. It will ask to continue or not. Make sure that you are giving the right device name. If this accidentally you give the name of your Linux machine, then it will format your entire Linux machine. So be very sure that you are giving the device name for the card. To ensure the name of the device, I do ls dev sd star before plugging in the flash card reader writer. So before plugging, it just shows me dev sda. After plugging the SD card reader writer, when I do ls/dev/sd star, I do see additionally dev sdv. This confirms that the card reader writer is allotted the name dev sdv. With this, it has completed formatting of the SD card. To run the camera from SD card, take the debug board and short the JP2 pin as shown on my screen. Next, insert the SD card in IPNC camera as shown on my screen. Rest of the connection remains same as shown in the hardware setup section of RDK out-of-box demo video part 2. Now to run the camera from SD card, you need to update the boot command and bootargs. For that, go to the RDK install guide and refer to section 3.1.2. To boot from SD card, the boot command should have these instructions. Now, there is a bug in IPNC RDK install guide of version 3.2 for Panasonic sensor boot command for SD boot. Here, this MMC rescan 0 fat load MMC 0 is not updated. So what you need to do is to just replace this part of the Panasonic sensor boot command with the highlighted portion of the boot command for FTNA sensor. This is how the boot command for Panasonic sensor should look finally. Copy this and paste in your Terraterm console. After that, copy this bootargs to your Terraterm console after updating the ETH address with your eMAC address of the IPNC camera and the IP mode. Paste your Terraterm console and enter boot. With this, the camera is now booting from SD card. This concludes part 3 of out-of-box demo. Thank you for watching this video.